What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA show. We are back. We got some news from the week. That's all sorts of crazy things that have been going down. If you guys didn't see it yet, I made a video last night about the going fishing with Bryce Mitchell, that video that MMA Guru shot, and there was an interesting little nugget, an interesting little tidbit in that video about Ariel Helwani. So make sure to check that out. He basically straight up calls Ariel Helwani a demon. So I don't know if you guys have had a chance to check that out, but that was kind of an interesting clip. And in the video, I discuss all of that. And Mr. Clapper is back in the mix. He says, Friday afternoon edition. Let's effing go. That's right. We are here every Monday and Friday, 1:30 p.m. PST. And I think Justin is just about to join the show. So we will wait for him. If you guys, as everybody starts to trickle in, if you guys got anything you want to talk with me about, go ahead and post it in the chat section. But we got some fun stuff to talk about today. A lot of things have happened. One of the topics that I didn't put down, and I'm going to explain why I didn't put down in a second, is this whole notion about the new lawsuit that's going on with the UFC, Dana White's testimony, and everybody's going crazy. Oh, wow, look, Dana White's not that involved in the business. He admits it himself. He doesn't work on the UFC contract negotiations. What's up, Western? And he says, yow, what's up, what's up? And everybody's making such a big deal about this. I don't see it as such a big deal. This is called delegation. I don't understand. He's hired Hunter Campbell. He's got Mick Maynard. He's got his entire staff. So why would he be in the nitty gritty negotiating contracts? I'm sure he used to do all of that stuff back in the day, but he may now have a more senior level or other things that he focuses on. Like I imagine the Paramount deal, he was probably instrumental there, bigger, broader, big picture things. So to me, people are making such a big deal out of the fact that Dana White said this in a deposition, but I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary. It's exactly what I would expect, especially now that he's branching into all these other endeavors with Zuffa Boxing, whatever, Power Slap and whatnot. So it makes sense. This is how business goes. You have to put your resources where they make the best fit. And if other people, if you have Hunter Campbell, who I heard is an attorney, he's got a legal background, it makes sense for somebody like him to be doing the contract negotiations and whatnot. So anyways, I didn't put it down because I didn't think it was that significant, that big of a deal. I think some journalists and some other folks are making a bigger deal out of it, but I don't see it as anything crazy to me. All right, guys, as Justin rolls in here, we're going to get started in the mix on topic number one. This was kind of an interesting thing. I definitely want to hear Justin weigh in on this. But the first topic for today, this is crazy. 4 fighters miss weight on the Apex card. Let me pull up the names of the fighters that miss weight. Hold on one second. So UFC miss weight. Let's see. So the fighters that missed weight are, here we go. I will screen share so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This is pretty crazy. And it's crazy not in isolation. It's crazy because of everything that happened in the last couple of weeks as well. And I don't know what is going on, but we've got Muyin Gufurov. I apologize, guys. I don't know these fighters per se, but this is one of the fighters that missed weight. So he came in at 141 for bantam. Oh my God, 141. That's 5 pounds overweight. Justin, so what I'm talking about right now is I'm talking about all the fighters that miss weight. And I want to actually, it's perfect timing because I want to chat with you about this. But basically 4 fighters for the card tomorrow have missed weight. We had 2 fighters in bantamweight that came in at 141. They're basically 5 pounds over. That's crazy. And then we have, let's see, who else came in over? Okay, this is talking about Cameron Smotherman, which is was the one that guy passed out. All right, so they're just talking about all these other weigh-in issues. Oliveira, Kyoji Horiguchi, okay, Kyoji Horiguchi, okay, all these guys made weight, yeah. So then Jailton Almeida, obviously that's heavyweight, doesn't matter. These guys made weight. Boop, 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 boop. Maybe they're saying 4 people have missed weight in the last couple of weeks. But Justin, it's pretty crazy. Oh, here we go. Here are the 4 fighters. Vasquez missed weight, so he's getting fined. Moore and Wang both missed weight. When does that
Say it again. Who missed?
2 people that are fighting each other both missed weight.
So the bout was it short notice? Was it a last minute replacement?
I don't know. I'll have to look.
I think we got to take those into effect before we start dogging on these guys because they had a full fight camp. they should be cut. If they had a week to do it, it happens.
Okay, got it. But I guess the bigger question is, okay, so then we have another fighter missed weight, and now they made it into a catch weight. He had to sacrifice 25% of the purse. But here's the bigger issue, okay? We have 4 fighters on this card, and I get it. Could be last minute, could be late notice, and whatever. But the UFC probably knows that this is happening. I would imagine they could discuss with the fighters, hey, what's going on? I mean, like, that's a big weight miss, 5 pounds. So they would probably have the discussion, do you think you can make weight? Maybe they said they could, and they thought they could, and then they couldn't. But, like, the bigger issue, Justin, that I'm thinking is we see Cameron Smotherman faint and pass out. We had multiple other weight misses. Then we have the Aaron Tao where he's trying to do the DC trick with his elbows on the curtain. What is going on? Because, like, in your recollection, have we ever seen anything like this type of a catastrophe, like a catastrophe and a comedy of errors, as they say, in terms of making weight in this close proximity?
I'm sure it has. I mean, missing weight's just a part of the game, unfortunately. I mean, I've missed weight a bunch of times. I know a lot of I mean, making weight's tough, especially when you're going down to those low weight classes. Like going to 145 with me was, man, it almost retired me every time I did it just because it was such a hard task to do. And as we get older, we look at, in these here's the thing. It's the old guys and the young guys that are going to struggle. The guys in the middle that are cruising, they're going to make weight pretty consistently. But it's the old guys like me who their body just doesn't lose weight like it did when it was younger. And then you have the young guys that just don't know any better. And those are the guys that are going to miss weight. It's you don't see champions missing weight too often. It's usually these new guys that Dana White's signing. And again, we have to know if these are short notice fights. If these are guys that they're picking up, these are last minute replacements. I mean, fucking tough to make weight in 5 days.
Okay, so by the way, that's a female fight. I should have mentioned that. It's Eduarda Mora versus Con Wang. And yeah, they're fighting tomorrow, and they're fighting at bantamweight. So yeah, I don't know how to see if they were short notice, and I don't know if it's more difficult for women to make weight than men, or vice versa. I have no idea how biology and hormones and all that stuff can factor in. But yeah, I guess it would be interesting to know exactly why. Sure, weight cutting is always an issue in this sport. It's always difficult. You guys always call it the fight before the fight, and you actually, I think, and other fighters have said it's so much worse than the fight. A lot of fighters. Right? Yeah, a lot of people enjoy the fights or look forward to the fights. Maybe the aftermath is difficult, but the weight cut is absolutely miserable. Remember you said at one point you're going to have me cut a little bit of weight and just see what it's like? Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it with Reggie Balls in town.
Yeah, so I'm going out to Vegas, guys, next week, and I'll be training with Justin hopefully a couple days. We got a fighter from Montana coming out as well. He's basically our favorite fighter, or at least I'll say my favorite fighter. I don't know if he's 100%.
I like him a lot.
Yeah. So he's both very high on our list, let's put it like that, of up-and-coming amateur fighters in Montana. He's coming down to train with Justin a week and a half, and I'm going to be going down as well. So
what's the date again? I keep re-asking the date.
February 18th. So it's a week from next Wednesday. He'll be coming down, but it's going to be really, really fun. Anyways, interesting story, crazy story. I'm sure the UFC is pissed. Beyond pissed. I'm sure it makes the entire organization and the entire promotion look unprofessional, and I'm sure it's not a good look for Paramount. So luckily, this is a smaller card. It's not as big of a deal, so it won't get as much media attention. But you know they're about to put the hammer down, I imagine, on fighters going forward, and they're going to really insist that they make weight. Okay, so let's move it along. We got a couple other comments. Like I said, Tehran says, "What's up, boys? What's up to West?" Western says, "What's up, Tehran?" Mr. Clapper says, "What's up, Tehran?"
Oh, have we made Tehran admin yet?
No, I forgot. I got to do it today. I'll do it today after the show. Yes, thank you for the reminder. Okay, so we got 4 fighters miss weight. Now we got the real big story, the amazing story. Ilia Topuria is back, ladies and gentlemen. Who's next? Now, just to give you guys a quick recap, so he came out. Apparently, he reached a settlement with his wife. And this was apparently the original settlement that was proposed with the division of assets. And I said from the get-go, he can't schedule another fight until this settlement is reached. Why? Because while he's still married, I looked it up. In Spain, it's a community property country. It's kind of like California. So basically, whatever that contract would be, even if he fought after the divorce was finalized, but he potentially signed that contract while married, I was like, I bet you he would still have to pay her half the money for the next fight, which means he's not fighting again. At least I didn't think he was going to fight again until this was resolved. I think I was proven right, because as soon as the settlement was reached, he went out and announced, "Yo, I'm back. I'm coming in. I'm returning." And I think the rumors are that they're fighting at the White House. Okay, we got a lot to talk about with this story because there's a lot of implications. Justin Gaethje's done a bunch of interviews, which is amazing. But first and foremost, what's your reaction to Ilia Topuria coming back and being able to defend the lightweight title? What are your feelings? What are your thoughts?
I mean, he's great.
Oh, we lost you, Justin. Are you there? All right, we're about to get a good little nugget. I don't know what happened, so we'll wait till Justin comes back. But I will say I am very, very happy. The only thing that I would have been happy about, I guess, if he wasn't able to come back, is we would have gotten Arman Tsarukyan going in and fighting Justin Gaethje, which would have been a banger of a fight. And I have to admit, me personally, okay, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. I'm a bigger fan of Arman for sure than Ilia Topuria. I'm a huge fan of Arman Tsarukyan. He's probably one of my top 5, maybe top 3 favorite fighters in the UFC right now. And that would be the one silver lining if Ilia Topuria wasn't coming back, to see Arman get a shot and get in there. But the fact that Ilia's coming back, I'm very excited about. Now, Justin, you were about to start. Hold on. We got one comment from, I think, somebody new. What's up, Joshua? And is last name Waquez? Let me know if I'm pronouncing that right. Do you think Biala Hassan will be in the UFC? I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with Biala Hassan. Let me look that up. Justin, have you heard of Biala Hassan?
I have not.
Okay. I'm looking it up. But Justin, while I look up Biala Hassan, go ahead and he's a flyweight from Cage Fury. Okay, I'm gonna look it up. Is it Biala or Bilal Hassan? Okay, Biala Hassan. I'm gonna look it up right now. But Justin, take it away. What are your initial thoughts on Ilia coming back?
Dude, I love it. He's great for the division, man. He's an incredible striker. He knocks guys out. And he doesn't just knock guys out, he knocks them out brutally, man. He's knocked out Alexander Volkanovski. I mean, he knocked out Charles Oliveira. Like, this guy is the guy that we need in action. I mean, can you imagine Justin Gaethje, Ilia Topuria, Striker's Delight on, I keep saying Prime. When I do my videos, I always say Prime TV, but it's not Prime, it's Paramount.
Yeah.
I've rewatched my videos last night, and I'm like, God damn, Prime TV. Like, it's not Prime TV, you asshole. But regardless, people know what I'm talking about. He's it for Paramount TV, man. I think it's going to be great when people see him come out and see the war that Justin Gaethje just had with Paddy Pimblett. And if they have Justin Gaethje, Ilia Topuria on the White House card, I mean, how awesome would that be? We have this incredible American champion, but unfortunately, I just think Ilia Topuria is just a little too crisp for him.
So Justin Gaethje just did an interview and he said, yeah, man, I have to fight him at the White House. It is happening. It's the fight to make. He's like, not only that, we are going to main event it. He's like, it has to happen. And they were like, well, you'll either be the main event, or they said this on Pat McAfee, you'll be the main or maybe the co-main. He's like, co-main to who? Who would be main event over us? And he's like, well, maybe Conor. He's like, nah, if Conor's coming back, Conor's fighting me. I'm not fighting. If Conor's coming back, he's got to fight me, and then we'll be the main event. Otherwise, it's got to be me and Ilia. So let's hear your thoughts on that, because I mean, God, it makes a lot of sense. I get Conor's a huge star. I still think Conor's going to co-main. Dude, Justin versus Ilia. We have an American champ on the main event. And as you said, it's guaranteed fireworks, and Ilia's a superstar. I mean, is this the main event, like, hands down, or what do you think? It's still a question?
I mean, I would have to say so. I mean, it has to be 90%er. I mean, like Jon Jones, who cares to watch Jon Jones? I do not care to watch Jon Jones. I want to see Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje's relevant. He just had an incredible fight with Paddy Pimblett. You have Ilia Topuria, the 2-division champ, the legend killer, as I call him. As not just me, but everybody calls him the legend killer. Like, making his return to not fight, but to fight another. What a legend. Like, this guy's resume is off the charts. Justin Gaethje's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Whatever, like, love him or hate him, think he's crazy or whatever. Like, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And this is just another guy for Ilia Topuria to add to his resume.
Nobody hates Justin Gaethje, for the record. I don't know a single person that hates Justin
Actually,
Gaethje.
I revoke what I just said. Yeah, nobody hates Justin Gaethje. I've never even heard someone say a bad word about him.
Yeah.
I heard he's a great training partner. I've trained with him only a couple times. I've never got to spar with him, but I've moved around with him a little bit. He was always very respectable to me. He never fucking tried to take my head off or anything. A couple grappling rounds was very smooth grappling. When guys come to a different gym, a lot of times, and I did this when I went to Uprise when I was with you, it's like we underplay our strengths a lot of times, because we want to see what's the pace of the opposition. And then, like, when Paul Felder comes in, man, me and Paul Felder, we've had some great rounds, man. What a great guy, what a great fighter. Like, we match each other's energy and we go hard. Like we get in there and we bang, but you just can tell that there's no animosity. He's not trying to hurt me. He's not throwing flying knees. He's not throwing elbows. If he does throw an elbow, it'll be like he'll show it and stop it. Like he's never following through. And the same thing with Justin Gaethje, man. I've never heard a bad thing about this guy, as a fighter or out of the cage.
Yeah, you can kind of get that vibe that he trains really respectfully. Just for the way he talks about respect, family, his parents. Like, you just get that vibe that he would be a very respectful training partner. That makes a lot of sense. We got a couple comments here, and then I want to ask you a follow-up question about this fight. Let's assume it's the main or the co-main. It's happening at the White House. It's going to be spectacular. But then I got a big question that I want to ask you. Western says, dude, Conor versus Justin would be amazing. It would be amazing. And I don't even know how that fight would go down, but that would be an amazing fight. Tehran says if Gaethje can go in there and fight smart. Okay, so I want to talk about this, what Tehran's saying right now. He can beat Topuria now. If he goes in there trying to brawl, he will be knocked out. I believe Gaethje fights smart going into the Topuria fight. Yeah, Tehran is picking Gaethje. He said that in our previous show. So this is what I want to ask you about, Justin. Pretty much everybody is like, oh yeah, Gaethje's going to get knocked out round one. It's not going to go long. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody seems so confident that it's just going to be Ilia Topuria all day. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a fight. I've heard Zahabi, the coach of GSP, say when he breaks down fights and gives fight predictions, he's usually at most going to say, hey, there's a 55% chance to a 45% chance, because he said ultimately it's a fight and it can go any which way. There's no so my question to you is this accurate that people are like, oh yeah, it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to lose? Or like, let's talk realistically. Justin's a great fighter. Justin's an amazing striker. Justin's got tricks up his sleeve, leg kicks. Justin's got a wrestling background. He showed his credentials against Patty and did tremendous on the ground, in my opinion. Like, what are Justin's real chances here against Ilia Topuria?
You know, I don't want to get into chances, man. I don't want to speculate that stuff. Like I'll do the breakdown when the fight happens, but man, it's hard for me to say that Justin Gaethje isn't gonna win. You know what I mean? Like I have a really hard time saying that, whether I think it or believe it or not. Like I don't want to shoot that into the universe. I really want Justin Gaethje to go to the White House. I want him to win. Dude, Justin Gaethje is the epitome of why I love MMA. If, like you said, he's beloved by all, why would we want to see this guy lose? Hey, Ilia Topuria is great. He's a great champion. He's a great fighter. Do I care to watch him compete all the time? I'll tune in. But Justin Gaethje is must-see TV every time. I can't put it in the universe that Justin Gaethje is going to lose, and even when I make my prediction video, I don't even know if I'm going to make a side, because obviously my gut says Ilia Topuria is going to win, and the way I see it happening is Justin Gaethje coming in the first round looking really good, looking really sharp, building his confidence, him getting a little overzealous, overconfident, and then getting cracked and knocked out. That's what I see happening. That's what I preclude happening, and I really think, and I don't want that to happen. My heart wants Justin Gaethje to win so bad, so I don't even want to put that in the universe.
Okay, tell me a little bit more about that, because this is what basically people are saying is that what you just said is how they're predicting it's going to go down. He's going to get in there, and what is the speed differential and the accuracy differential like that great? Is it just because Ilia is just such a sniper and which hits with so much power that no Justin Gaethje or anybody is going to be susceptible to a KO shot? Like what is it that you feel?
Here's the thing. You look at the Charles Oliveira fight, and I thought it was a great fight. Charles Oliveira, you know, as Ilia was going up, Charles Oliveira, in my opinion, I thought Charles looked like he wanted to be a weight bully. He was just walking Ilia down, not respecting his striking, taking damage coming in, hands were up, but every time he got hit, he would just walk through it. And he wanted to be like a Terminator. So when you get hit and you feel like, bang, I got cracked, hey, that's his best shot. I can wear his best shot. Maybe it wasn't his best shot. And you're building a false sense of confidence that, hey, I can wear his shots. I can wear his work. Hey, he can hit me. I don't care. It's not going to hurt me. Charles Oliveira looked exactly like that. Nothing swayed him. Nothing slowed him down. He wasn't on his back foot until he wasn't. And then he was knocked out cold, because I think that Justin Gaethje is going to be coming in. He's going to be tight. He's going to be technical. He's going to have his hands up. He's going to be doing the right things. And then he's going to get hit. And then he's like, that wasn't that bad. I've been hit by much, much heavier hitters than that. And then he's going to start opening up a little bit more, a little bit more. Oop, there's my knockout shot. And he's going to go for a big overhand right, expose himself. And Ilia is just going to sit on a right hand, man, and sleep him. And that's what he's known for. And that's what he's done over and over and over. He hasn't done it once. He hasn't done it twice. I mean, when Charles Oliveira came out and fought Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira came out hot. I was like, oh, Charles is in. Like, he's going to beat this guy. And then he didn't. And that's my biggest thing for Justin Gaethje. Him building that false sense of confidence going in that first round, and like I said, going against Paddy Pimblett. He talked about how he wanted to go for it. He wanted to knock Paddy out. He wanted to show everybody he could knock him out. And that's why he was overshooting and overthrowing and putting himself out of bad position, because he didn't feel that at any point that he was going to get hurt. He did get hurt a couple of those punches he didn't like. And let me tell you, Paddy was able to land on Justin. Ilia's going to land on Justin.
Okay, let's talk about. I want to back up for a second. So you mentioned Charles Oliveira coming in, plotting forward. You thought he looked like he was trying to be a weight bully. Maybe he felt like he could take the shots, and then all of a sudden he realized he couldn't. There's another element here that I want to talk about too, because we also have the coaching element, an element that you're very obviously familiar with, right? He's got Trevor Whitman, a master strategist, a master game planner. That fight with that just happened with Paddy. Trevor Whitman has talked about a very specific, meticulous game plan that he crafted based on Paddy's pattern. So so we just saw the two guys go out there and brawl, and hey, Justin's a better fighter than Paddy. Whatever, it is what it is, right? That's our takeaway. But there was a lot of game planning and a lot of great strategy that went into that fight from maybe one of the best minds in the sport of MMA. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that, but I think a lot of people consider Trevor Whitman one of the best of the best. So what about that element, right? What about the element of constructing a beautiful game plan with Trevor Whitman? Do you think that having Trevor Whitman in his back corner could give him an edge so he doesn't make the mistakes that all these other legends have made fighting Ilia Topuria?
I mean, it could, but here's the thing. You have to stay to the game plan. Think about, and that's the hardest part in fighting, because it's emotional. All right, you hear the crowd, you got your blood boiling. You're not thinking game plan, game plan, game plan, game plan. And I'm not
Okay.
saying that's not the wrong, or I'm not saying that's the right thought process. But when you get in the heated exchange, hey, when I fought Charles Rosa, I had Jake Shields in my camp, Dennis Davis. All right. All I worked on the whole camp was wrestling and grappling, because I was going to take him down and beat him up. And then he punched me in the mouth. And I was like, oh, you want to fucking punch me in the mouth? All right, motherfucker, let's go. And then we end up staying on our feet for 13 minutes of the 15-minute fight, when I could have took him down, war on him, beat him up. I mean, honestly, when I took him down one time in the third period when there was like 2 minutes left, and it was arguably one of the easiest takedowns I've ever had in my career. And I remember thinking, like, man, I wish I would have done that in the first. Stuck to the game plan. I don't think Justin Gaethje, because of who he is, he's the highlight. He's must-see TV. Let me say that again. He's the highlight. I just think if he sees an opportunity to do what the highlight does, he's going to deviate from the game plan.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. During that fight, were your coaches like screaming at you, like, "What are you doing?" Or they let you do your thing?
They let me do my thing.
Okay, got it. Just curious. Yeah, see, these are the insights that us fans otherwise wouldn't really know. Or
because
understand.
they understand that I'm in there. I'm making the adjustments. I've been doing this for a long time. Maybe I see something or feel something they don't see. But honestly, just my head was, I want to knock this guy out so bad. I don't like going to decision. I don't like losing or winning decisions, because regardless, if it's a close fight, there's going to be people that thought you won the fight, and there's going to be people that thought you lost the fight. Doesn't matter. It could be,
Right.
you could be a 99 out of 100. 99 people think you lost. I just don't like that one naysayer. I want to knock a motherfucker out or submit him, and then nobody can say that they thought I lost the fight. And that's just how I was throughout my whole career. And I was notorious in my career for deviating from the game plan. You look at my last fight in October. Were you there? I don't remember. At the
October?
Palms?
No, I don't think I would. No, I wasn't. I wasn't there. I wasn't
It's
there.
the first time in probably 10 years that I stuck to the entire game plan. First time in my whole career.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
You know what I mean? I should say the first time. First time with a wrestling heavy approach. I took this guy down 3 or 4 times. I reversed him. I slapped him around the ground. But after the fight, I was just like, when I got my hand raised, I just was so like unfulfilled. I was so unsatisfied. Like, I was like, that was boring as fuck. It was boring for me. It was boring for the fans. I didn't get cut. I wasn't bleeding. He wasn't bleeding. Like, we didn't have much damage. Like, I don't know. That's not why I got into fighting. I want blood. I want guts. I want carnage. I want chaos. I want the crowd cheering for me, cheering against me, in those moments. And Justin Gaethje's like that too. He feeds off that.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, guys like us, we sometimes our emotions get the better of us, and we get reckless.
That's really good insight. I want to close out on this topic on one last thing. I have heard
I
Justin
gotta start
Gaethje.
walking into the gym.
Go ahead. I've heard Justin Gaethje say on a lot of interviews that he gives Trevor Whitman so much credit. And he's like, Trevor Whitman just tells me what to do, and I go in and do it. So yes, I get it that Justin Gaethje is the highlight. He wants to go for these big moments, and obviously getting in the center of the cage. Well, I mean, he was losing that fight against Max Holloway, so that was actually probably a smart move.
Yeah,
but I am gonna. I don't know. I think people are counting him out, and I think
I'm not counting him out. I want him to win. I just don't want to
so
say that he's going to lose.
fair enough. Now we got some comments from Tehran, and he says he goes, I believe Gaethje is going to fight smart, so he believes he will fight smart. He said Gaethje should fight the same way he did against the Dustin Poirier rematch when he got that head kick KO. I knew Trevor Whitman is coming. I just know. So Tehran says this. He's agreeing kind of with what we're saying. I just know Trevor Whitman is coming in with a solid game plan. Gaethje is being counted in. He usually shines when being counted out. I don't think Gaethje does the same thing DuBronx did. Yeah, I'm sure there's no way that Trevor Whitman is not going to watch all those fights and give him a different game plan. So for sure. And Joshua says, do you think Alvial Bareilly will be in there? Man, Joshua's got a lot of these fighters that I'm sorry, man. We don't know. I don't know these fighters from Fury FC. I wish I did. I wish.
Awesome. Thank you.
We obviously, Justin and I commentate. Just I'm going to mute you while you're just walking one sec. Me and Justin commentate for Fusion Fight League, and so we know the amateurs and the pros that fight out of there, but we're not as familiar, I think, in general with some of these other promotions and professional fighters and amateur fighters. So sorry about that, Joshua. Wish we had a better answer for you. Okay, Justin, let's move on. Topic number 3, probably could have predicted this one a mile away, but our friend Aaron Tao, who did the legendary shoulder on the weight curtain thing with the curtain of shame, has officially been cut. And then he made a post following being cut saying, hey, what can I say? I'm a warrior. I'm bred to fight, not to follow rules, winky face. And just like that, he's out of the UFC apparently. What are your thoughts, and what do you think he could do going forward at 31 with like a pretty good record, honestly, a professional record? But like, what are your thoughts, and what's next for Aaron Tao, do you think?
How's my volume sound? Sounds crackly.
Oh wait, it got crazy again. It's sounding all crackly again. Okay. All right, Justin's gonna jump back on, but yeah, I think for us, or for me anyways, I think this is no surprise. You go in there and you cheat so blatantly like that, and you get busted. I think the UFC has no, even if they want to keep you, I think they probably, just from a precedent standpoint, will have to cut you. They want to discourage that type of behavior. So I am not shocked that Aaron Tao got cut, but I almost wonder, because he did get like a decent amount of press on this. A lot of people were talking about it. I almost wonder, in a weird way, I almost wonder if this could help him get a decent fight in another promotion like ONE or some of these other MMA promotions that are reasonably big, because I didn't know who he was before that weight cut, and now I think that weight miss, I should say. And so now I would have to say that, I was just saying, Justin, by the way, that I almost think that Aaron Tao is going to have some opportunities, because I didn't really know who he was until he tried to cheat and got busted. So he might be able to roll into another promotion like ONE or something like that and get a decent fight for a decent payday. What do you think?
How's my volume sound?
Yeah, it's still bad. It's still bad.
I have to go in a minute anyways, but yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised by this.
Oh, it's better now. It's better now.
You know, yeah, it's weird. I think my phone, I have a 15, guys, so I think my phone's kind of crapping out here. But yeah, I'm not surprised by this. We kind of predicted this. I mean, when you're cheating, dude. I mean, hey, you just got caught red-handed. Just wear it the way it is. Don't try to argue and say that, oh, I didn't mean to do that. You'll just look stupid. We all talk about the things we have to do to try to get the scale a little lighter. We always joke about it. He saw an opportunity, he took it. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. And I think he's going to get picked up by another organization. Maybe the PFL will pick him up, or maybe he'll go back to fighting on the regional circuit. But at 31 years old, he's just going to have to sit down and see what his goals are, because I don't think he's getting picked back up by the UFC.
By the way, just before you got to go here, going back, I want to talk about Daniel Cormier, who's the OG of missing weight and cheating with the towel trick. People always give Jon Jones and a lot of other fighters who've been busted for steroids like such a hard time, TJ Dillashaw and whatnot. Like, why is Daniel Cormier cheating the scale just like a laughing matter? Like, isn't that kind of an equivalent type of egregious level cheat, or do you not feel that way as a fighter? Because I mean, he went in there, he missed weight, but he snuck around the system and laughs about it. Is that it? What do
I
you think
agree
about
with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. Um, I think I don't know, man. I don't know how everyone just laughs about that DC incident. I think that was, I mean, got caught red-handed and it's laughed
red-handed?
about, it's joked about, and obviously no other fighter will ever be able to do that again because of it. But yeah, I mean that's the as clear of cheating as it's just as fuck. It's even more than steroids because
Yeah,
steroids at least you're trying to hide, and he didn't try to hide it. He did it in public. He just reached out and grabbed the
right.
towel, like it was so he was hiding in plain sight. He like that's what he and people are like. Wait a second, did he just grab it? Like no one even believed what he just did because it's like no, he would never do that.
And was he the because if he I can't remember if he's the champ then. I'm gonna look this up because if he was the champ then he theoretically should have been stripped. He theoretically should have had to pay 25% of his purse to his opponent, and he got away without doing any of that. Look, I love DC, guys. I'm not a DC hater by any means. I love the guy. He's like my favorite. I think he's amazing at commentary. I think he's hilarious. I love his YouTube channel. The question just popped in my head right now. I'm like, people don't even give it any consideration. They're just like, Daniel's on the up and up. He's like the greatest. And he is probably in like every aspect of his life for the most part. But they just kind of brush that under the rug. Like, yeah, it's kind of weird. I guess just because he's so beloved, I suppose. I don't know.
I think, and I think you hit the nail on the head. And I think it was just so people were just so caught off guard by it because again, Dana White's never. I mean, honestly, he missed weight. Like that's a big no no, man. And can't say I've ever done that before at the highest level,
Missed
especially
weight.
for how fat he is. Like, how did he
Yeah,
miss weight? Like,
I
that's
know.
just like
He
he's
missed
fat. He
weight.
has a sloppy body. Even when he was at light heavyweight, he was sloppy. And
Yep.
like I've worked, man. Like being an extreme couture, I've worked with world class coaches. I was able to work. I had 1 or 2 days with Daniel Cormier's Olympic coaches, his wrestling coaches, from Colorado and from the Olympic Training Center. And they said DC would come into practice with a bag of McDonald's, and he
Yeah,
would
yeah,
eat
yeah, yeah, yeah.
McDonald's before practice.
Yeah, that's exactly
And
what he said. Yeah.
he was such a specimen and so athletic and so strong and so smart that it didn't matter. But you think about this. Think if DC dialed in.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably would have beaten
Like
Jon
he
Jones.
only had 2 losses his whole career to Jon Jones. Besides that, he had no losses. If he dialed in,
Yeah. Lost to
wow, that's a
Stipe.
special human being.
He did lose to Stipe, but that was near the end of
Oh
his
yeah, he
career.
did lose to Stipe
Yeah.
too, but
Uh,
at the end of his career. But regardless,
yeah.
irregardless of that, like I mean, think if this guy took every. Think if he showed up having like broad shoulders and a 6 pack, like
Can't
fucking
even imagine
unreal.
it. Can't even
Yep.
imagine that.
But you have to think when he was a kid, he won wrestling matches as a kid. Well, I probably ate
Yeah.
like shit. Probably won wrestling matches in middle school, ate like shit. Probably won a couple state championships. Never had to die. Got to college, had immediate success. So why change those things? I mean, he's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've been doing it this way for so long. He never, even when he was in wrestling in college or in the Olympics, like he looked okay, but he never had like a 6 pack or anything.
Yeah.
You wouldn't look at him and be like, wow, that guy's a specimen. You know what I mean? You look at
Right.
Francis Ngannou or somebody like that, that's some scary stuff.
Western says kilograms is greater than picograms. I think he's basically saying that the weight cheating is worse than taking steroids. I believe that's the implication. MGAL4 Productions in the house, says James
Oh.
Uzefa. Go. Justin, how are you for time? Do you got to bounce?
Yeah, I got to go. Unless there's
Okay.
anything else you want to ask me.
I mean, we got other topics, but I can cover myself. And it's all good.
I appreciate you. Yeah, guys. Hey, I got a big tournament tomorrow. So finally, we're going to the regional. We won the conference, as I told you last week. There's 3 steps to this process. You got to win the conference, got to win the region, then you go to states. So I got my last practice today. I'm at right now. Then tomorrow's regionals, and for some guys on the team, if they lose, it's going to be the last time they ever wear a singlet. So it's a very
Wow.
special moment. If you win, you go on. If you lose, you go home, and that's it. And so it's really nerve wracking right now. I'm really excited for the guys, but yeah, I'm about to have our last practice.
Got it. All right, Justin, good luck at the tournament tomorrow and good luck at practice. And we'll see
All right, see
you,
you guys.
next time. Take it easy. All right, I got a comment from Western, and he says, no, I prefer the leaning on the towel. Okay, got it. Not saying it's a more egregious penalty. Fair enough. Okay, we got more news. I don't know how much weight you can put on this, but, and Western just wished Justin good luck. I just missed it, but I'll pass the message along. Dave Feldman has come out, the owner of BKFC, Conor, its business partners, come out and said that Conor apparently is looking better in training than even in his prime. Now, Conor did release some training footage of himself earlier, I think in the week or last week. I did show it to Justin, and I got his feedback because I'm like, he does look sharp. He's sparring, he's training. Justin's immediate response, obviously from a seasoned professional trainer at Extreme Couture, was immediately like, I don't know who these guys are. It's easy to look good against people who you don't know who they are, how good they are. So he's like, this means absolutely nothing to me. Anybody can take it. I mean, it's true. I could take a couple clips of myself training. It looked pretty sweet too. But it wouldn't mean much. And yeah, he said anybody can look really sweet in a couple of rounds of sparring with random nobody. So he didn't take any of that to heart. Also, Feldman is his partner. Obviously, he's not going to say anything negative, so we got to take it with a grain of salt. But I'm just trying to keep hope alive, dog. I'm just trying to say that, to me, this hopefully is a sign that Conor's going in the right direction and he's serious about it. Also, Feldman and the whole BKFC team, they want Conor to fight. They want him to return. They've all got the same, all their interests are aligned, because if Conor can come back, I've mentioned this before, I'll say it again, the situation is, and so many people get this wrong and it drives me crazy, Conor has 2 fights left on his deal. Maybe he'll renegotiate to some extent, but he's probably not going to go to renegotiate to get more than 2 fights, because I'm sure he wants to do those 2 fights and get out and fight in BKFC. He's got 2 fights. The sunset clause does not activate until he has the first fight of that 2-fight contract. And I believe that this new contract was signed right before the original Chandler fight, when that was supposed to happen. So that didn't happen. So it's not like he can just wait out his contract. It does not activate. It used to activate when you sign the contract, 5 years from signage. Now it's 5 years from the first time you step in there. I've researched this. I've looked up how they changed the contracts back in like 2021 or 2022. So he's got to go in there and fight. Feldman, the BKFC team, everybody's probably trying to motivate Conor and get him on that same page. A lot of people are relying on it. I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to get in there, and I think he's going to do his thing. Now, who will he be fighting? That's another question. Will it be Jorge Masvidal? Will it be Justin Gaethje? That'd be lit. I have no idea. Probably not going to be Gaethje. I think we're going to have Gaethje versus Topuria. Western says, Western says Feldman is a snake. He did. Okay. I wonder why you're saying that. So I will say he did, what was his, who was it? Who was the UFC fighter that was supposed to fight in a BKFC event, and Dave Feldman basically pulled the rug out from underneath him and didn't let him fight, or basically tried to say that, hey, there was doctor issues, but constructed that whole like fabricated thing, and basically just didn't have the money to pay the guy, because he was offering to pay him like $1 million. That was bad. That was a bad look. So if you're talking about that, then yes, I agree with you. That was a really shady move. Nobody in the media, aka like Ariel Helwani, did not touch that, did not cover that. I called it out because I'm like, he's obviously not covering it or talking about it, because it was one of the crappy, like, Ariel always will defend fighters, or like purportedly defend fighters that are getting screwed over by promotions. He didn't touch it with a 7-foot pole, and I believe like he maybe mentioned it, but and he had Feldman on the show, but he didn't really go off on it like he does in the UFC, because he's got a relationship with Dave Feldman. He just did that whole series on BKFC. He went to a BKFC event. He loves Conor, so you know how we all know how it goes. But in that case, yeah, Feldman was not good. Now, does he do that all the time? Or are there other instances of that? I don't know personally. So I'd love to know what you're referring to, Wes. I can't remember. I just remember hearing a bunch is crap about the guy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you have to give him credit for what he's built at BKFC. They're doing phenomenally well. I think the promotion it's very professional, very, very well run. They're doing shows all over the world, all over the planet. They've got stars that are rising in the promotion. The partnership with Conor was amazing. I mean, I think Dave Feldman has an amazing story. And yeah, I would, me personally, I'm not at all writing him off or saying he's like a bad guy or something, using these like big terms for him. I would not go that far at all. Could be true, could not be true. I don't know. But I'll say from a business standpoint, I'm very impressed with what he's done. I like bare knuckle fights. We commentate for them at Fusion pretty much every card now, and they're really, really fun. Obviously, MMA is my favorite by far, but bare knuckles dope, and I think it's a really cool sport and a really cool lane. So I'll say that what he did in that situation where I'm blanking on the fighter's name, it's going to drive me crazy. He's a legend in the UFC, and I'm totally blanking. Hold on. UFC legend, BKFC fight pulled doctor. Let's see if I can figure this out. Eddie. Oh my God. Frankie Edgar. There we go. I'm like thinking Eddie. It's Edgar. Frankie Edgar. Yeah. So the Frankie Edgar situation was a bad look, but other than that, I don't know too much negative stuff about Dave Feldman. All right. We got another big story, guys. We are less than 2 weeks away. 2 weeks from yesterday, we're going to see Gable Steveson returning to the cage. And this time it's for, I think it's called the Mexican Fighting League. It's a promotion in Mexico. Man, I have like toyed with the idea. I can't now. Because actually, wait, could I? I might actually be able to. No, I can't go. That's right. I can't go to this fight because this is going to coincide with when I'm going to Vegas to meet up with the Fusion fighter Lance Reginbold. So I won't be able to go. But I was toying with the idea of zipping down to Mexico for this fight. Like, how lit would that be? I actually do want to go because it's probably tickets aren't that expensive. I guarantee. You could probably sit front row for a couple $100, and you could watch Gable Steveson right before he makes his huge. Oh my God! Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I really want to go. Who knows? Maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll go to Vegas on Wednesday. I'll zip down there, and then I'll fly out Thursday, and I'll go to this fight. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see what happens. But either way, Gable Steveson is fighting somebody who is 11-3. That's his opponent, and we shall see how it goes. But this is, I think, the biggest test here in terms of Gable Stevenson's competition. I have a strong feeling he's going to get a first round finish within like 2 minutes. He's going to smash his opponent, maybe take him down and just beat him up. I don't know what's going to happen. That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be ground and pound. We shall see. But I am so excited. And if he does win in crazy fashion, if he does smash his opponent, dude, this guy's on a rocket ship. UFC, here we come. And he's going to be on the White House card. Guarantee it. Even if he grinds out a decision, which I think is basically impossible. So this is, I can't wait, guys. Be on the lookout for this fight. Now, the more I'm thinking about, I have to go. I gotta go. It's history, man. Just like I went to go see Smila Sundell. I shot down to Vegas. I did a 1-day trip. I just shot down there, saw her, and came back. It was amazing. So maybe I'll do it. Tehran says not topic related, but this is being a garbage Super Bowl. Doug, I'm not even watching the Super Bowl. I'm working all day Sunday. I don't care about football. I would rather watch an Apex card, any UFC, anything you want UFC related than the Super Bowl. Maybe if I'm playing fantasy football, it's a little more interesting if I need like a particular player to get something done, but otherwise I do not care. Last topic, ladies and gentlemen. This is a bummer that I didn't get to talk to Justin about it because I want to know his take. But Jon Jones, when talked about wrestling Daniel Cormier in RAF, mentioned that, guys, I can't do it because I have crippling arthritis in my hip. And so I just really can't do it. I was in so much pain in my last fight camp. Now, Jon Jones later came out after that clip was released and says, man, I thought I was having a private conversation that got released all over the internet. And yeah, we all as fighters go through pain, but if you give me a good warm up and all that stuff, I'll still get in there and beat the best of them, whatever. So what do I make of all this? In my humble opinion, I don't make much of it at all. To me, what that clip represented was Jon Jones not wanting to wrestle Daniel Cormier. Why? Because I think that's a sport where Daniel Cormier will definitely have the edge. Daniel Cormier himself says, even at 45 or 46, however old he is, that he would tech Jon Jones. Basically, he would pitch a shutout and he would destroy him in wrestling. I think Jon Jones knows that to be the case as well though obviously Jon Jones would win in an MMA fight, right? That's obvious. So to me, that's just Jon Jones not wanting to compete and lose. And he basically said that and was just kind of saying it as one of the reasons why he didn't want to go in and wrestle Daniel Cormier. But I don't think this means anything about Jon Jones not being able to compete anymore or do anything like that. I think he's still able to compete. And I think he made a statement as well saying that he can still compete at the highest level and wants to still compete at the White House. So I think this is much ado about nothing. And the arthritis comment was just to shuck off this idea of, nah, I'm not going to wrestle Daniel Cormier. This is why. But it's not holding him back in any substantial way. That's my thoughts. That's my opinion. Do we still potentially... And Tehran says, I don't care about football either. Let's go, Legends. do we still think Jon Jones is eventually going to headline this UFC White House card? I think I'm on an island there. I said for the longest time, I still think it's got to happen. I still think, yeah, I saw that DC said he would box Jon. I don't know if Jon will box him. Maybe will. We'll see. That would be dope. I'd be down. Maybe if Jon Jones doesn't get on the White House card and the UFC won't bring him back, maybe they'll do that. I mean, I'd love it. I still got to believe, guys. I still got to believe Jon Jones is going to headline this card. We do have Justin Gaethje now. So we do have an American champion, even it's interim, but we do have an American champ that could headline it, but it's too perfect, man. I think it's Jon Jones. I'm still going to say Jon Jones will be headlining the UFC White House card. How can you not have a celebration of America, 250th celebration, White House card, historic event? How can you not have Jon Jones on this card? He's got to be on there. I don't care what Dana's been saying publicly. I don't buy it. John Dong says, what do you think when people discount Jones' legacy because he fought middleweights? Nah, I don't think anything of it. Listen, Jon Jones fought who they put in front of him. They put, if it's middleweight guys that want to move up and fight at lightweight, or they're smaller lightweights. If that's the case, that's the case. That's not Jon Jones saying, I want this middleweight guy to move up and fight me. That's not up to him. And regardless, look, man, even if you want to take little pot shots at Jon Jones's legacy for the competition that he fought, he still has an insane amount of title defenses. Take one or two of those away. Take away, everybody goes on and on about the fight against what's his name? Dominic Reyes. Oh, he lost to Dominic Reyes. Fine. Take that away from him. Say he lost to Dominic Reyes. Big deal. His legacy still is an insane legacy regardless. You want to talk about the steroids thing? That's a much more difficult conversation, at least for me to have, because I've talked to Justin about this off camera. And, we don't even know. Oh, look what just happened to Kamaru Usman's brother just getting busted for steroids. What does that mean about Kamaru Usman? I mean, I don't know. And that's maybe not fair to draw that connection. But there's just so much murkiness with steroids and these other illegal substances. So I'm not willing to just write off anybody that's been caught, because how many people have not been caught but are still doing this stuff surreptitiously? So I'm not. Anyways, my point is still, you have to give a lot of credit and credibility to all the feats and endeavors and all the things that Jon Jones has done. Yeah, these could be little chinks in the armor, if you will, but I don't think to me, it doesn't demolish or destroy his legacy by any means, a couple of those things by themselves. John Dong says, exactly. Also, people talk about lighter man skill and that smaller fighters are more skilled than bigger fighters, but apparently Jon Jones sucks. Right. Yeah, it's a little hypocritical, right? The smaller weight classes generally have a higher level of skill. So, dude, you just can't listen. When you get to these levels of fame and legacy and whatnot, you're just gonna have a lot of people that are gonna turn on you and hate you. Like MMA Guru hates Jon Jones, and he'll say, he has all these different reasons and whatnot, but there's probably people with worse past and worse records and worst track records or whatever that MMA Guru doesn't focus on, or these guys don't even think about or talk about, because they're not in the limelight, they're not in the spotlight. But when you get to that point, when you get to those heights, you're gonna have a lot of people trying to take away from your accomplishments. John Dong, yeah, very, very, very good points that you brought up there. Yeah. Anyways, in conclusion, we're kind of at the tail end of the show here. John Dong, tell me if you agree. Are we going to get Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira, or I think it's going to be Jon Jones versus Pereira. Maybe Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane. I don't know. But is that how you think it's going to go? I know Hamzat is trying to get Pereira. A lot of people want to get Pereira. I think ultimately it's going to be Jones versus Pereira. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments and in the chat. That's all we got for you guys today on our Friday show of the 10-7 MMA show. We shall see. Oh, yeah. John Dong agrees with me. Let's go. I think we'll get Jon Jones versus Pereira. Let's hope, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if anybody else is as excited about this. I think a lot of people aren't, but I am. Alex Pereira is one of my favorite fighters of all time. To get him against Jon Jones, let's go. Let's go. All right, that's all we got for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take it easy.